I am not telling you to leave your job. I'm not telling you to turn down the raise. I am telling you that the time to build the parallel asset is before the handcuff gets even tighter. Here's a strategy that resolves the golden handcuff without requiring you to make a dramatic decision. You do not leave, you build alongside. You use the security of the salary to fund the time and the infrastructure needed to build the platform, attract guests, and establish authority in the domain you want to own externally. So I want to have a conversation that most people in your position are not having out loud, not with their spouse, not with their mentor, not with their closest colleague, because it feels dangerous to say it out loud. But I'm going to say it for you. You're good at your job. You're well compensated and you feel stuck, not because you are ungrateful, not because you are lazy, because the salary that rewards you also traps you. And every year the compensation goes up, the trap got a little tighter. It gets a little tighter. So this is the golden handcuff conversation. And today we're going to have it honestly, right? We're going to name it and call it out. It is what it is. So the golden handshake is one of the most under-discussed dynamics in senior corporate life. And here's how it works. So you spend years building towards a compensation level that genuinely changes your lifestyle. Your mortgage reflects it. Your kids' school reflects it. Your savings trajectory reflects it. And then one day you realize that the salary is not rewarding you. It is controlling you because the thought of walking away from it, even towards something better, feels financially irresponsible. So you stay, not because you love where you are, because you cannot afford to love something else. That's not a character flaw. That's a structural trap. And it is one that is a very specific kind of build can solve without requiring you to blow up your life to do it. That's what I want to talk about today. We're going to talk about that build, the math that makes the trap real. So let me give you the honest math.
I want to take a pause for a second and talk about your confidence, right? You got the experience, the results, the credibility, but when it comes to putting your voice out there, fear creeps in. Who am I to do this? Does that sound familiar? That's imposter syndrome, and it's keeping you small. My coaching is about breaking through that, helping you turn your expertise into content, conversation, and coaching that builds real influence in your industry. So if you're done hiding behind titles and ready to lead with your story, head over to connectingwithcreatives.com/coaching and let's get started. I'll see you soon.
So if your household runs a $300K annual income and you have external income streams, your optionality is essentially zero. You cannot take a risk. You cannot negotiate from strength. You cannot afford to leave even if the environment becomes toxic, the leadership changes, or the role stops feeding you professionally. You are locked. Now, let me give you a different version of that math. If you build a consulting or advisory income stream of $5K a month over the next 12 months, that's $60K a year. That number does not replace your salary, but it does something more important than that. It changes your psychology completely, right? You walk into your corporate role differently when you know you are not entirely dependent on your salary. So you negotiate differently. You set boundaries differently. You make decisions from a position of choice rather than fear. So the first thing, external income stream is not about the money. It's about what the money represents and beginning of a life that is not entirely contingent on one employer's continued goodwill. Okay. So here's the part that most people do not think through clearly. The golden handcuff does not stay the same size. It grows. Every raise makes it harder to leave. Every bonus makes the alternative feel less viable. Every year of lifestyle inflation increases the floor below which you cannot drop without a structural change to how you live. This means the longer you wait to build the parallel income stream, the more leverage the handcuff has over you. I am not telling you to leave your job. I'm not telling you to turn down the raise. I am telling you that the time to build the parallel asset is before the handcuff gets even tighter. Because once you are at a compensation level where the gap between your salary and what the market would pay you in consultating feels, the psychology barrier to the building becomes almost as high as the financial one. So here's a strategy that resolves the golden handcuff without requiring you to make a dramatic decision. You do not leave, you build alongside. You use the security of the salary to fund the time and the infrastructure needed to build the platform. You use the credibility of the title to open doors for the podcast, attract guests, and establish authority in the domain you want to own externally. Use the stability of the corporate role to make patient, consistent investments the market account, knowing that it compounds slowly at first, then accelerates. So the goal of the first 12 months is not to replace your salary. The goal is to prove to yourself and to the market that your expertise has value outside the building. Consulting engagement is not life-changing income at all, but it is proof of concept that changes everything about how you think about your own value. And proof of concept is the first step to optionality. So I want to give you a very honest reframe on cost of building the platform. So the podcast launch accelerator, this program I run for senior corporate leaders who are already starting to build, right? So this is a 5K investment. I had people tell me that sounds like a lot. So let me put it in context. So if you are a senior leader earning K, right? That is less than 2 weeks of your income. It is less than what most people spend on a family vacation. It is less than a single month of payment on a car that depreciates every day you drive it. The cost of not building, staying trapped, losing optionality, starting from zero after the restructuring call is orders of magnitude higher. Freedom is not free, but it's cheaper than most people think. And it starts with a decision, not a leap. So I'll leave you guys with this. The golden handcuff is real and you guys know it. The trap is real and the feeling of being well compensated and quietly stuck is one of the most common experiences among senior leaders that nobody talks about publicly. You do not have to blow up your career to get out. You have to start building alongside of it, right? Alongside of it. Strategically, consistently, with a system that compounds over time. So the link to start that conversation is in the show notes. I will see you there.